going to talk about, this is the compliance checklist. We're talking about contracts today. This is a resale contract, and this is a property that I owned and put on the market, and the goal was to sell it, but what happened was I was able to do a lease purchase. So everybody always asks about, how do you do a lease purchase? Well, this is a lease purchase resale contract. So obviously, we have the compliance checklist here. You can see that most of the stuff is in the closing information sheet, the earnest money, the counter offer, the base contract, agency, all the things. I got good at, but I don't have my title work in. But other than that, I had all my compliance stuff dealt with. This is the commission letter that you'll see. That every time you sell a house, there'll be a commission letter generated, and this just shows who's getting what on the transaction. And I'm not receiving any commission on it because I own the house to start out with, so I'm not charging myself a commission. Okay, closing information sheet. We've got it filled out. You got to have the sellers and buyers information, and I know these are some weird names, especially for the buyer. If anybody can pronounce that last one.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, that's a challenge.
Oh my God! I gotta look at that.
Yeah. So you look here, you see all the, I got all the information about who the buyer is and the real estate company, and all this detail is extremely important because that's how these commission letters get generated. They're going to look at the closing information sheet and they're going to generate the commission letter. So if you have bad information there, your commission letter is probably going to be jacked up too. So it's your job to make sure that this is filled out correctly. You see the effective date of 1/13, closing date of 1/14, 12. So it's a year's contract I have with these people. It's a year before the closing date. But I gave them an incentive to close early. So we'll see that a little bit later here. So $169,950 is the sales price. You see I put my MLS number in.
Yes. When you do a lease purchase, pretty much full price?
It was not full price. Well, I take that back. It was full price at that point in time because I think I had listed for $175 and I came to $169, and so I had to reduce it a little bit. But
and how is the rent, the lease base?
They pay me $1,350 a month, and none of it goes toward the down payment. It's just that's what the lease is, and but I'll go through all the terms here. So then, you'll notice I have the title company and all their contact information, and everybody, it's very important that information is there because the commission letter's got to go to that title company. If you don't have the right title company information, it goes to the wrong place. Okay.
Real quick.
Yep.
Scroll back up, will you? Start it off. One thing that we see quite a bit, and that you want to probably make sure that you get filled out on there. Like Tori's got on the commission information section, he's got the price listed there, or the commissionable sales price listed there. He's also got the amount for the listing company. Doesn't really have a percentage, but I don't think that a percentage was appropriate for him on this transaction. But selling company, the buyer's agent, 3% and their amount, and then transaction fee paid for by agent to whatever it is. Make sure that's filled out. And if you can, it helps Kim, especially if you're splitting a listing or splitting a buyer commission with somebody like you two, like us possibly in the future, to have that broken out on that agent split breakdown. It helps Kim out tremendously to figure out who's getting paid what. So just try to make sure you fill in that as well.
Just handwrite it in there.
You can type it in.
However you want.
Preferably, all of that information should be typed. Some of us don't have the neatest handwriting in the world, and it's difficult to read. So, yeah, the more you can type in that document, the better off it'll be.
You'll notice I even have the 210 warranty confirmation number on that closing information sheet. I can't tell you how many times I've reviewed contracts that went to closing and somebody forgot the warranty stuff in the contract's not on the closing information sheet. Causes problems, so you try to catch all that front. And that's one of the things when we review these contracts, I look for that. I looked, is there a warranty? And if there is one, what's the confirmation number? If you got a confirmation number, then more than likely it's going to make it to the closing table. Okay, next thing you see here is a check for $5,500. Okay, so that was the down payment, and it went to the seller, which was me, because it was a lease purchase, and that was what I agreed to do, how I would agree to do it. And if I didn't get the money up front, then I wouldn't have done the lease purchase. So that's what that check's all about.
Will that go towards their down payment?
That's part of their down payment. Okay, then we see we got we have a pre-approval letter from the lender.
Or maybe not.
Well, excuse me, it's a pre-approval maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, so it talks about what they need to do, and I actually talked to the lender and got verification that they will be able to get financing in time in the future. Okay, well, here's that same $5,500 check. I just had a blown up version. Okay, here's the counter offer, and I know we're kind of going at this backwards because usually you get a contract and then you have a counter offer, but we're going to go a little bit, and we're going to do it backwards a little bit. So this is the counter offer. You'll notice sales contract, agency, financing addendum, listing company, selling company, and residential lease. So, like I've told you before, if you do a lease purchase, all the leases is a part of the contract. So you have the contract, and then you have, as part of the contract, you have the lease agreement. Now the question is, will they close on that contract? If they don't, then I have terms in here that they would have to move out if they don't close within that year period of time. So again, we have the earnest money, we've got the closing date, now finance.
Scroll back up just a hair.
Sure.
So, does everybody know that those 5 lines on the right-hand side of paragraph 2 are supposed to add up and kind of balance out? So, we've seen a lot of contracts that will come in and where the bottom 4 lines don't add up to the top line. A, B, C, and D should add up to that 169,950. So it's always a good idea if you're using the version of the contract in KCRAR, the one that says no math calculation. It's always good to go ahead and get your calculator out and run a quick to see if you add up or not. So
Yeah, extremely important.
yeah,
Because
that is a finable offense.
yeah, if you don't know how to do math, you need a calculator. Because we review it, and how many times have you? I mean, you've been only reviewed for a short period of time.
Yeah,
And
we've
you've got it multiple
couple
times.
of them. So
Yeah, so it's something that you gotta learn how to do. Math. Hell, you're having somebody sign it. You know, sign this paper. You're gonna have bad math. You know, you gotta review. It's your responsibility as an agent.
it's about being a professional.
Yes. So we got a closing date of 1/14, and then under possession, I say see lease agreement. And this is my incentive. I agreed to. See, I said $1,350, additional $1,350 if closed in 7 to 10 months. That's what I put in there. So $27 if closed in 6 months. So anyway.
Mr. Graham,
Yep.
teacher,
Yep.
should that 2,700 if closed in 6 months off the left be initialed?
No, I wrote it in there.
Okay.
And there was no changes to it.
Okay.
So
I didn't know since it was kind of outside the
Yeah,
lines of things.
Explain that better. Additional seller paid cost. You're going to charge them $1,350.
No, I'm going to
He's
pay
gonna pay it.
$1,350 for them, and if they close it in 6 months, then it will be $2,700.
Okay.
So it's the incentive you're giving them. Okay.
Yeah. So the earnest money is non-refundable, so they're committed. Possession is before